Hey everybody, how you doing? Welcome to another instance of this show that we do called Ticket Stubs and Popcorn. Episode, only because I have so many other episodes during my daily life. What's one more, right? So today we're going to be talking about Dustin Hoffman. Dude is a freaking legend.
Yes, I'm very excited when the name came up from the bucket.
Really, really fun. So that's what we're doing today. That's what you're going to sit through.
I've got a question for you. Is there a movie franchise out there that you just never got into?
Never got into?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or you may have, you just don't, you don't get excited about it.
All right. Yeah.
And let's face it, there are a lot of
those
franchises around.
Yeah. All right. Yeah.
There's a lot to choose from, I guess.
Yeah, most definitely. All right, cool. Let's do that. All right. I'm going to start off with Dustin Hoffman.
Let's start off with Dustin Hoffman.
I will start off with Dustin Hoffman in, I'm going to go Tootsie.
Mm-hmm.
I love that movie. It's super duper funny.
Yes. It still holds up.
It holds up. I'm not sure that, actually, you know what, like, in its little pocket, it holds up.
Yeah.
I don't believe that it holds up to modern day scrutiny.
No, I know what you mean. It still holds up for me. But yes, I know what you mean.
Funny.
I know what you're getting at.
And if you can sort of, and watching it now, it's nostalgia funny. But I really don't think that movie today, one, it wouldn't get made.
No.
And two, it would not, in its current state, it would not be well received at all. I don't think.
Yeah, it might not be, but
no, I don't. Yeah. I don't think it would, because it makes a joke of trans people. It makes a joke of gay. Yeah. Like the whole that whole thing is way too landmined with problems. And you know, good, bad, or otherwise. I mean, and I understand why that is such. And again, I don't think that it. See, one of the problems is that it doesn't. I don't think it takes on those things in a derogatory way.
No,
I don't think it does. I don't think it makes fun of those things.
No, not at all.
It uses that as a way, if anything, it sort of supports it in a weird way, because it sort of makes fun of those who would have a problem with it.
Yes, who are fighting.
Right, who are fighting it.
So, well, that's kind of why I think that it could hold up. But yeah, I know what you mean. There is a political football out there that
it's way too dangerous. I don't think that movie would get made today. But I
probably wouldn't get made.
I think it's one of his best performances.
Oh, I do too.
He's very funny in it. I don't think that he takes the whole thing disrespectfully.
No, not at all.
I think that there are some sort of homophobic jokes in Friends that are worse than things that happen in Tootsie.
I'll save my comments for Tootsie.
Okay, but I just think that he's great, and I think that he shows, he's an actor doing what he can to act, and that's what you got to do. And it's a good premise that, again, I don't think holds up in 2022, but the movie is kind of fun, and I may, just if you have comments, let me know what you think. Maybe you don't think it's funny. So, but I thought that his performance in that was really, really fun.
I loved it.
My next one would be Wag the Dog, which is a great political commentary movie where he's asked to direct a crisis, basically.
Yeah.
I think it's great because he just it's also a great De Niro movie.
It's a very good movie.
It's a very good movie.
Yeah.
Gary Levinson directed that.
I think so.
So it's a great movie about a presidential campaign that needs to create a crisis to take attention away from a scandal.
Right.
And so they film like atrocities going on in a fake country. And it's great. And it's just so funny because they run it like it's a movie. It's like, oh, she's holding a cat as she's, hiding behind the rubble. Which cat do we use? Which cat do we use? Like it matters, right?
Yeah.
But it's another one of those, and I would put this in the category of Hollywood loves Hollywood, because it really is about, the creating of this show, these news clips. And it's very funny. It's very, there's a lot of great cynicism in it about politics and the media and all that. And he just he plays his part perfully. And he's upset that no one's going to know it was him who directed this war. Exactly. So that's really about an artist being an artist for his art. And
you got it for the sake of the art. Yeah.
And it just doesn't work out well for him at all. So my next one would be in Hook. Mm-hmm. He's great. He camps it up as Hook. Oh my God. So great. So much fun. And with an actor like him who's so known for so many great dramatic parts. I mean, he's been around forever. He's done so many iconic roles. To see him just having a great time with this role as Captain Hook is just absolute pleasure to see. It really, really is. He's so great in that, and I love him. And he's done so much great stuff. There's so many to choose from. So many I had to leave behind.
You're gonna have. It's painful. It's painful
really
to leave stuff
really is tough. So I'll be surprised if we overlap. I kind of think we do.
We overlap on one.
Yeah. Okay. So why don't you go ahead?
Okay.
Where we overlap?
I'm gonna jump in. Dustin Hoffman, been around for a good long time, and which is just testimony to his talent, and he's never had the physical stature to be cast as a love interest all the time. He does play it in movies.
He's kind of fun size,
and so he's like the size where he doesn't get typecast as that pretty boy. Male lead romantic comedy or romantic.
He's not too intimidating, but he can play it.
But he can play it, and so it's great that when he is aged appropriately.
Yeah,
it's not like you ever see him and you go, why did they team him up with a woman that much younger?
Yeah,
or when he's old enough to be somebody's dad, he's somebody's dad. When he's old enough to be a crusty old man. He's a crusty old man, and he can do it all. And I'm gonna start. It's not his first, but it's his first blockbuster one that he's did stage work, and now he's Hollywood doing movies, and the one they gave him the most recognition, his first big recognition is The Graduate. Yeah. I love this movie. I've always loved this movie, and it's to me one of the funniest movies around, and it's coming of age, and that one does hold up. It does. Yeah, and the humor definitely holds up. He's this callow youth. He comes back. He's graduated from college. What's he gonna do next? That's what they're all asking him. They have a big graduation party for him back home, so now he's back in California, and he's like, Joe, college. They always have these, what are you going to do, Benjamin? What are you going to do? Right. And they want to know, are you going to go to grad school? Are you going to do this? And he just wants to be left alone. He's trying to sort out his life. He's having this crisis, doesn't know what's going on, and then that gets added to tremendously when he starts a relationship with the mother of a friend, and it involves the two families, but different marriages now are involved. And then he develops the relationship with the daughter. In earnest, he develops a relationship with the daughter of the woman that he did have the affair with. They finally broke that off, but now Mrs. Robinson is hell-bent on destroying Benjamin, and no chance of a relationship with my daughter. You're not good enough. And it's a great
movie.
but a great performance, well written. There's beats in this movie, and it's just perfect.
It's everything.
It does.
Perfect. So good.
And he is perfect as the young graduate who just doesn't know what he's going to do next, and stuff's happening, and he's not equipped at different times. You know what I mean?
It's so funny,
you know what I love too is at the end of the movie, the Benjamin character is able to stop the Elaine character from making a mistake, getting married to the other guy. Yeah. But that still doesn't mean that everything is just going to end up rosy. Right. You see it in their faces. They're sitting on the back of the bus and they don't know what they're doing next. And that's like the perfect ending. You don't know what life is bringing.
Well, that's the thing.
It doesn't say that it ends perfectly. It doesn't say that happily ever after. No, that's just the ending.
That's what sucks. When you finish college, like there's this, for some reason, there's this societal, like,
pressure.
Yeah, thank you. That's the perfect word for it. It's just like, oh, what's next?
I just finished. Let me breathe.
What are you going to do next? You're in a relationship. When are you going to get married? I remember that because I was living with a woman when I was out when I just finished college. Just like, well, when are you guys going to get married? And what are you going to do for work?
I'm on this fast track to what?
I just want to. Yeah. You know, it's just like then, when are you going to get married? When are you going to have kids? When are you going to get the white picket fence?
I do think this movie's like, what, 1967 maybe? Yeah. It's at a time when not a lot of people are graduating from college. A lot are starting to get to college. So now it's like this is like a little more expert. You've just graduated from college. Yeah. What are you going to do now? Yeah. And it's like, yeah, it still goes on today, but a lot more people graduate from college now than did, 55 years ago. Yeah. And it's
65 years ago.
No, I don't know. 60s? No, 55. 67.
Yeah.
1967.
It's the new man. 67. What year is this?
2022. That's 55 years. 67 plus 55 equals 122. No?
50. Yeah, I guess it is. Wow. And I was about to sit here and fight. Fucking man. Wow. Meanwhile, I'm sitting, so that must mean it's just like, I'm going to be 64.
Yeah, so. Oh, brother. Okay. Wow. Yeah, but we all make mistakes.
I know, And
yours was waking up this morning, apparently. No. Honest mistake. But, so like 55 years ago, not as many people. So it had like a little extra, oomph. It has so much meaning now, so you can imagine that, But, so a tremendous performance from, at that time, a young actor. Although he's a little older than what he portrays in the movie. But he does have a smaller size. He does have he could pull it off.
That happens so much, though. I mean, don't you ever watch Grease and go, why is everybody 35 years old?
Yeah, exactly. What kind of graduating class has 42-year-olds?
Everybody is eligible to run for president. Except for women.
So, ouch. So, that's my first pick. I'm gonna jump on. Because the movie
Tootsie?
We did overlap is Tootsie. Love that movie. I think the humor, the jokes, the ha-ha holds up. But yeah, the situations you have to worry about now. But it's well written, certainly well acted, and he pulls it off because he's playing two roles. Yeah. And the same person, but two roles within it because he's taking on female acting roles. And the reason that I think he does so well is because you sense from him, from his character, that this is like a necessary thing. I need to eat. I need money. And if I'm not getting roles as, in this case, Michael, I guess, the man, I'm going to be Dorothy. Yeah. I'm going to try. And to his surprise, it does much better than he thought. And
goes way too well.
Suddenly he's got a full big role in a soap opera, so that's an ongoing thing. And then he becomes famous, and which adds a whole.
But the thing is, though, it's interesting because like you think about characters in a movie like that, and it's just like, okay, on its face it doesn't look good because it's a selfish thing, and it's what are his intentions? And you could look at it like, well, his intentions are selfish. He's trying to, get work that should go to either a woman or a trans person or whomever. So, again, I think through the lens of 2022, it works less well.
Yeah. So, but I think we find that his character is sincere, and that's what makes it believable. He's not, there's no bad intentions, and we know what.
Yeah, but playing devil's advocate, I could say that. Well, I know. It's selfish intentions because he
it's
wants
a selfish.
to work.
It's a selfish. It's a weird business anyway.
He's doing it so that he can work. If he wants to work so badly, get roles as a male actor.
Yeah.
But again, playing devil's advocate.
He doesn't want to necessarily become a star. He just wants to work.
Right.
But still.
But still.
It's
still.
Yeah. But,
selfishly motivated.
I just love the way
he's not doing it for any altruistic reason.
No. Producing great soap opera art.
Right.
But he's wonderful in that one, and that was like that movie was something different at the time, and it just
again at the time it's one of those.
Yeah, and just he's he was up for it. He's very good in it, and I love that acting performance. The other one is going to be, this might be another one that might not be able to be made today. I don't know, Rain Man. But the thing is, he's Raymond in Rain Man, and because he doesn't go full on retard. I found that out from Tropic Thunder. You don't go full on retard. Yeah. He's autistic, and he hits it on just the right notes. Because I do remember as this movie was after the movie came out, I do remember that this really was based on, someone wrote this story, and I think it's based on a very specific autistic person. And so I think Dustin Hoffman met the person, spent time with the person, and so he got down a lot of mannerisms and things, and he got to learn about that life that may not even be typical within autistic people, but it was with this one. This person was autistic and a savant, and so he pulls it off well. And to be honest, it's a very good Tom Cruise performance, and that allows a lot to happen too.
Yeah,
between them, it's impressive to see him do stuff. He's got his own life, and it doesn't necessarily fit the Tom Cruise life, but Tom Cruise needs him, and so he takes him around, and he's, that part is the part that we aren't supposed to like the Tom Cruise character at the beginning anyway, but he uses his brother, and then things happen, but he plays this so believable, and you didn't see, this was, I think autism wasn't portrayed in any way, negative, positive, or as a freak show. It wasn't portrayed as anything in movies really before this. This was something that opened a world to me that I didn't really quite understand until I started to read more about it. Yeah,
and since then there's been a lot more awareness. The spectrum has broadened.
Definitely.
So, and I think in
and
that
the diagnosis
sense,
too. Yeah.
So I think in that sense, again, looking at the way that movie might be portrayed, or might be sort of received now, that pigeonholing some of these elements of his personality, you wouldn't necessarily get all of this in one person. Like I've seen,
correct.
I my ex-wife worked with autistic kids, and you could see some elements of like sort of perseverating on certain items. There's certain things, and you would see that, but you wouldn't see like so many
all of them
mashed into one person. And then some of it gets played for comedy, which isn't great, and then some of it is played for over drama. So I think that there would be a lot more scrutiny of this movie.
Yeah, and
today,
I also think that they would cast an actor who really was autistic.
Yeah, you would try to do that a little differently. So
but
as a movie about a relationship between two brothers, I think that works without focusing too much on how the autistic brother, the details of that performance. If you don't focus too much on that and you just look at the relationship between the brothers and how it's so funny because that movie isn't about Raymond. It's about Tom Cruise.
It's about the Tom Cruise
character, whose name I can't remember. So
I can't either.
Yeah, right. So again, which is really indicative of how much your focus gets drawn to the Dustin Hoffman character.
He takes all of your attention.
Right, and talk about his arc and about him realizing that the world doesn't revolve around him, and when you need to take care of somebody else, and that somebody else could have been a child, a pet, or anything. I'm not equating. Don't come at me for this. No. I'm not equating autistic people with pets or children, but just that there's another person in your life that you need to take into account, and that's what that story is. But again, it's so much of it gets your references. I'm guilty of doing it myself. Somebody drops something. There's a bunch of things scattered on the floor. I look at them and go, "How many?" It's just one of those things. So. But it's a story about that relationship and someone learning to take care of someone else.
Yes, yeah, and I it's tough to think of that movie without thinking of Dustin Hoffman's performance. That's what we do forget that. Yeah, it's supposed to be a little more about the other brother.
Exactly. Yeah,
but it's really. Our memory doesn't hold like that way. It's
because
it's a great Dustin Hoffman
all the notable things that happen in that movie happen because of Raymond's personality. But nothing really about Tom Cruise's growth.
Yeah. So I love he's able. The actor Dustin Hoffman is able to take a role that may not have been conventional in either Tootsie or in Rain Man, and really not just it's a big movie, it's got Dustin Hoffman in it, but he raised both of those movies to a different level where they were like, Academy Award nominated, not just the acting but the movies, everything got elevated. Really, there's good writing, the whole bit, but
Was your fourth movie Kramer versus Kramer?
That was close, but no. There's a bunch. I loved them in the Meyerowitz stories, which I think I picked for Adam Sandler, maybe because he's the father in that one, and he's very good in that one. And then
Death of a Salesman.
I liked them. I loved them. I loved them in Papillon, Death of a Salesman.
Death of a Salesman is one of those times, one of those things that I saw a video of, like in high school.
Okay. With Dustin Hoffman or another? Because it's been
pretty sure, yeah. Because it was done with Brian Dennehy too. Like the Dustin Hoffman one, and it was like kind of one of those first times when you like understand a play. It's not just like, oh, I know what happened and I followed the story, but you just like get what it's about. Yeah. Not what happens, but what it's about.
Yeah.
And
there's like an empathy for the characters now, and you're like,
it's just like, this guy's such a tragedy.
Yeah. But then also Midnight Cowboy. There's a lot of movies. Yeah. You go, oh my God, he's got a small role in Dick Tracy as Mumbles. Yeah. There's like little things all through his career. Like you'll take well,
Kramer versus Kramer is notable because it's a movie where you go, God, I hate Meryl Streep. She's so awful.
She's not nice.
She's not. It's just like, God, I don't like not liking Meryl Streep.
I know it. But he's in a lot of great stuff. And you know what? He never did, as far as I know of, or that I'm concerned with. He never overexposed himself. Like, oh damn, how many movies is he doing now? It's like the right amount. Yeah. You never got.
It's never saturation.
Like, forget it. How many movies we're going to see with Dustin Hoffman?
Yeah, it wasn't like every year. Oh, what's the Dustin Hoffman movie this year?
Exactly.
Like you do with
it was
some others.
He did a few, and then you'd wait a little bit. Some would come around, you would like it. I love Meet the Parents much more than Meet the Fockers, but he's in Meet the Fockers, and that's a nice little hippie character twist on that one. And he does, so he can do anything. And like I said, he's aged well, and he ages appropriately. And the only reason I bring that out is because there are actors out there who don't choose roles that are age appropriate, and he's not one of them. We're
talking to you, Ed Begley Jr. I'm not talking. What? I have no idea where that came from. All out of there. So anyway.
Begley Jr. is outside charging up his electric vehicle, and you're bashing him.
He's sitting there with a charger with the sun, then like cranking it to charge up his electric bike. What was the franchise?
Franchise.
You know what?
Is there a franchise that's out there, or maybe more than one, that you're just like, I'm not really not so into this one?
All right, so I think. Probably the Fast Furious one. That's the first one that came to mind when you brought up the question. Yeah. I'm just like, okay, like I think I saw the first one. I think I saw the third one. Mm-hmm. I saw Hobbs and Shaw, which is technically part of that. But I saw that because it wasn't necessarily. So, I mean, the whole like
its own animal.
Fast and Furious 8, it's all about family. It's just like I have, I'm sure it's, I've seen enough things where cars are doing cool stuff. Whatever. Yeah. Fine. Yeah. And there's nobody in them really that I'm dying to see drive cars. So I'm not really wrapped up in that. What else? You know what? The Hunger Games one. I was just like,
that's a good
those
right
only because I watched that and I'm like, the first movie. The president should have just killed her. That movie should have been 45 minutes long. Oh, wait, she's getting really popular, and they kill her.
Right.
Kill her. You can create like
it fits in the story,
doesn't it?
You
can create weird dogs that can come after them and weird bees and shit. Kill her. And what's everybody else going to do? Like that's going to be the one thing that's going to get the people to rise up. You've been shitting on them for years and. Killing this one girl is gonna kill her. So that I just have no use for.
I never got into the Fast and Furious franchise. I don't really care. Same thing. I with Hunger Games. I think I saw each one once, and I'm like, I'm done. That was enough for me.
For me, it's like the second and third. It's just like this is a problem that you could have solved a while ago. Yeah. So it's your own fault.
The other franchise I never got into, and I know that the books were wildly popular, and I know that the franchise was wildly popular. We haven't had it in a little bit.
The Encyclopedia Britannica?
Yeah. Lord of the Rings. I just never got into the series. I saw each movie. I just, once is enough for me. I don't need to watch. They're very long. I don't need to revisit them again. I just never got into it. Maybe that's me. I don't know. I just never got into it.
I acknowledge.
Once is enough.
I acknowledge the achievement.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
Fantastic. I think that the extended versions are a little bit much.
Yeah.
I did read the books. I thought they were great, but like you said, they're too long. It's just like
fine.
Yeah, I tried to probably within the last year or so. I tried to watch because my favorite of the three is Two Towers.
Okay.
I think that it's great because it sort of picks up on the action from that one, and it sort of brings you in. So like it's a good middle one, you know. It's the Empire Strikes Back of the Lord of the Rings. I almost said Lord of the Flies. The Lord of the Rings trilogy. It's got the most action.
Yeah.
So when I'm watching it, and I'm just like I said, it's got the most action, and I'm like 45 minutes into it, and I'm like, yeah, this is taking a long time. Yeah. They're just exhausting.
Exactly.
They are, and you know, you could. I acknowledge them, but they're not something that I would revisit.
No,
you know?
I didn't. Whereas, like recently, or fairly recently, watched all of the Harry Potter series, and that was one that I never got into the books before, so I just didn't. Saw, you know, the movies, or most of them as they came out. I liked them. But I did revisit them recently, and they're still fun. They still hold up. Like I could do that again, and maybe another, well, we'll say a few years. We watched them through, and they're fine. But I couldn't do that with Lord of the Rings. Right?
No, Lord of the Rings are like, so, like I start to see ads and stuff for big, huge televisions that they're frames. Or whatever, they look like they're on the wall.
Yes.
And then they, when you're not watching TV, it just turns into a piece of art.
Becomes into...
it's just a piece of art that sits there, and it looks like a beautiful painting. Great. So, and then you see some, like I know that certain cable companies have like, almost like a screensaver, like where it'll just sort of shift. Like the Lord of the Ring movies, I think that you could leave them on a screen like that, turn the sound off, and they just sort of act as
a screensaver,
as almost like a screen, art. just art going by. So you can, and you just sort of see them because they are very beautiful. Yeah, but
I don't need to follow it.
I don't, and they're great. And again, if you have a big, huge TV that's like taking up most of your wall, and that's just sort of going on, and like I said, they're very, very beautiful. Mm-hmm. But Kevin Smith said it in Clerks too. Those movies are a lot of walking. Boom, 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 walking.
There's
Second movie, boom, 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 walking. Third movie, all right, done. So. But again, I appreciate and I applaud the achievement of bringing very complex books to life and keeping a lot of stuff in there. Fantastic. But I don't need to revisit them. Again,
I know, not at all.
The Hobbit, when they did the Hobbit, I thought they moved a little bit more. Those were cool. My son was really, really into that, and that was great. And but. Yeah, that is one that I just, it's like, it's out there. I respect it, but I'm not going to
we have a lot to pick from, because now it seems like movies, whether they're blockbusters or not, or whether they start off that way, studios love to be able to let's make a franchise. They'll make franchises.
Well, look what the MCU has done. The MCU has grown from a franchise to, let's face it, it's a lifestyle choice. It really does. There's so much that's out there, and
it's crafted to be a universe.
Yeah.
Everything is knitted well together. And there's gonna be overlap and interconnectivity.
And it almost makes you feel like, well, I should watch this.
Have I missed this?
What have I
should
missed?
watch this again, because how is this connected?
Is going to connect into here.
And then you start feeling like you're like
I said, it's a lifestyle
or a bad fan.
Yeah.
I better watch everything, because
you want to be able to have everything. Yeah. So anyway, franchises. Can we do the bucket?
Well, we can.
Can we please? I'm ready for lunch. Okay,
ready for lunch.
One.
You're still trying to figure out how long ago 1967 is.
What is wrong with me? Really, that math was not working for me at all.
I'm excited about that one.
Finally, it had to happen. So,
you got it.
All right, kids. Thanks for watching. Thanks for playing, and enjoy your day. Bye-bye.
Take care.